Can't get my punk ass off the street. Cannot graduate.
Got some interesting tidbits tonight. I don't know if we should.
Well, I mean, how much do we need?
I know. I don't know if we should just, blaze through them, tell a little bit of our history because of that lady that wrote nasty. We forgot to do it last time. Just blaze through them, save letters. What do you want to do?
Well, not really sure. Hey, Andrea. Hello, Linda.
Hello.
Andrea, we got your really nice card. I hope you saw it. Tommy Jean. I hope you saw the post that we did. That was really funny. I was cracking up. I mean, your note was very nice, but on the other side, the card was really funny.
That's really cute. Thank you. And we'll have to get together for that margarita.
Hey, Justin.
I like spicy margaritas.
Margies. Hello, Terry, Jakob, Analu, Hector, Wasabi, my man Sam, my man Kathy Armstrong. Hello, Becky, Abe, Linda Harris. What? You didn't?
Didn't what?
I thought you were one of our very, very best customers. You got to see all the social medias. Hello, Chris.
Didn't what?
She didn't see the post, but that's okay.
Oh, you just posted it a
couple hours ago.
Yeah. A couple of hours ago. I haven't been on Instagram as much lately. I'm not very good at keeping up with my social media.
Social media?
Need to be better at that.
Oh, we got a lot of...
What are you doing?
Well...
I got a little dog sniffing around my feet. This dog, y'all, she's obsessed with
feet. Here we go. This is the letter from the listener that we need to read this one. Let me print this real quick. Why are we calling her up?
That's where everybody see her.
Okay.
Say hi. Yeah. Oh, my. Okay. All right. Okay. She's so cute.
You asked her to come up there.
I want everybody to see how cute she is.
Do me a favor, hand me that paper. Please.
Oh, she's so sweet. I just love her. It's 2 pieces of paper.
Thank you.
All right. You want to put the baby down? We'll put the baby
Hello,
down.
Bethany.
Say hi, Zoe.
Leslie, Kelly.
Can you see yourself?
Tommy Jean. Oh.
You already said hey to Tommy Jean.
I know.
Isn't this the sweetest dog? Larry's hiding somewhere.
He went off. He slinked off somewhere. I don't know.
She's a good girl right here. She's such a sweet girl. Still figuring her out. She's figuring us out. Look at that. You see yourself? You over it? Ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
8:40.
Here we go. Don't act like you're waiting on me.
8:40.
Don't you act like you're waiting on me.
We can sit here and watch you play with the dog all night, or we can do a podcast. What do you want to do? Come here, yeah.
See, I'm not going to make little snappy comments.
I like doing this.
You like thumbing her butt. That sounded bad.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye, baby. Okay.
No.
And yes, I'll kiss my dog in the mouth. I don't care.
Okay.
A little bit of germs are good for you.
Let's see. What am I doing here?
You're going to do test, 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 and press the record button.
Zoe, no. Don't do that. All right.
She's very excited. We just got home, so.
Yeah.
She hasn't adjusted to us being home yet.
Yeah.
It's okay, sweetie. Good girl. You need to go get you a rescue dog. I highly recommend looking for a schnauzer. She's so sweet. Yes, you are. You're so pretty, too. You're a pretty girl. You ready, babe?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Where are you getting these from? He's got a list. I don't know where he got a list from, though.
It's just so ridiculous.
That's never stopped you before.
All right.
Test 1, 2. Zoe Lou. Zoe, what's your middle name? Did we give you a middle name? Zoe Bowie?
I thought it was Poe Zoe.
I don't like Poe Zoe. Zoe, you need to have a middle name.
Give me something.
I've been giving it to you. Zoe. Test.
Madame Dick Burns, please pick up the red courtesy phone. Madame Dick Burns, please pick up the red courtesy phone. Madame Dick Burns.
All right. And there's that. Welcome to another episode of the A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast. I'm Kelly Raspberry Evans. This is my husband, Alan Evans.
Hello, man. Adrian in the house.
Just mix it up. We never know what to expect. It's crazy up in here. But that's what we do best. Just give you lots of surprises. In fact, I don't even know what we're talking about tonight. I'm kidding. I do.
Don't do that. You shouldn't do that in front of the listener. They're going to think we don't know what's going on.
That's right. I've told him that.
That's another Kelly clapback, by the way.
That wasn't a clapback. That was just...
Would you stop saying that on the podcast? The listener's going to think we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Well, babe, we don't really know what the hell we're doing.
Well, you don't have to tell them that.
That's more of a show note, babe. Anyway, we do have some things to get to. What happens is we make promises of things we're going to do in podcasts, and then we forget to do them. And then suddenly I remember, oh my gosh, we were supposed to do that in the last podcast, and we forgot. So we're going to take care of that business tonight in this podcast.
We are?
Yeah.
We're taking care of business, huh?
Yeah. We had a listener that found us. Was she in Australia?
Right. Yeah, she actually was.
She found us in Australia. She doesn't really know how she stumbled across us. I guess whenever you download a certain podcast, like true crime podcasts, it'll say, if you like that, you might also like this. So we should maybe find out what she listened to that got us to be suggested to her. Because I think that's what happened. She listened to maybe a podcast with couples or something. And it said, if you like this, you might like that. And we were that.
Yeah, we were
but
that.
She asked us to give a little brief background on our history because she ain't got time to go back to listen to episode 1. Who does? Well, a lot of people, actually. We hear from you, too. So we're going to give a little brief background on our histories tonight in the podcast.
Well, it's not going to be brief. You're 53 and I'm 40, almost 49.
Why you busting me like that?
I'm just saying.
We're going to do that. Alan's got some listener mail with some very specific questions he's going to answer for people tonight. And if we have time, I've got a little bit of tidbit news. Nothing that's time sensitive. It can wait. We'll just see how things go, right? We want to keep you coming back for more.
We do. And we're, listener, a little peek behind the kimono. We just came back from eating Mexican food. Okay.
We're a little discombobulated.
I'm discombobulated.
We were not drinking margaritas.
No, we weren't. We had about 3 Diet Dr. Peppers. And how wheels off is it to go to a Mexican restaurant like we do, partake in the chip, and this was not Red Mountain approved. Partake in the chips and salsa. Yeah, we'll have another thing of chips. Yeah, we'll have 2 more things of salsa.
It was so good.
And then I got a bowl of tortilla soup, and then 3 fish tacos after that. And you threw down some big Juarez-looking platter.
It was a grilled chicken breast, but, topped with all sorts of goodness, like cheese and stuff like that.
And now we're just...
And we're just miserable. We'll be honest. We're doing this podcast. We are so miserable. We're retaining so much fluid. My eyes are so swollen from sodium retention. I can barely hold them open.
I mean, there may be cheeks lifted in this podcast.
Oh my God. I got that to look forward to tonight.
I may do that in
Alan has been
comfort of my own home.
But Alan, have you been just eating a lot of foods that give you that effect lately? Because that's what's been happening.
Why do you always want to talk about that?
You do.
No.
You've been
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
Let's just, we were going to talk. You've been exceptionally gassy lately. And I don't know, is it something in your diet?
It's not true. Listener, don't believe any of this.
Who are you going to believe?
Well, you won't believe me.
Who are you going to believe?
You won't believe me.
But it is true. We're both very full. But thank you for joining us. And who knows what's going to happen tonight. But very quickly, I don't remember the lovely lady's name, and I should remember her lovely name, but our Australian listener, she asked us to tell a little bit about our backgrounds. And I will do it as quickly as possible because I've told this story a lot.
Well, hold on. Before you do that.
What?
We have a letter to set all this up.
Oh, you do have the letter.
Well, not the letter.
Oh.
We have a letter.
Okay. Well, bring the letter. Another little peek behind the curtain before we continue. And I don't think people can hear this, Alan. I don't think it's being picked up. Last week we did the podcast and the dogs were so well behaved. Alan, we didn't put them in the kennel. And so Alan said, let's just leave him out again tonight. But we just came home. So Zoe, our newest rescue dog, is so excited to see us. She's got so much energy. And Alan has given her this toy.
Well, it came from the foster mom.
It came from the foster mom. She brought us a bucket full of toys. And when Zoe tears up one, we just give her another one. This one sounds like crinkly plastic, not the squeaky thing, but that crinkly plastic. And she's decided to bring it in here with us right now. And she's going to town with it. But I have a feeling the people can't hear it on the mic.
I hope not.
I have a feeling that's the case. So we're going to just...
You ever been fishing? You ever hooked a big bass and you hook that bass and then that bass is shaking its head to try to get the lure out of its mouth?
Yeah.
That's what she's doing to that. It's like a white monkey.
Yeah, that crinkles.
That has a rainbow mohawk or something.
So we're just going to just plow through and hopefully she'll give up. Or maybe not.
Yeah, we'll just try to plow through.
Yeah, let's just plow through. She'll give up.
We have a letter from...
It's a podcast with sound effects tonight.
Alexis. Alexis, the subject of this is, who is Alan Evans?
Oh, great. This will lead us into that.
Hey there. I was inspired to email you guys after listening to one of the podcasts last week. Let me start out by saying I'm a huge fan of the podcast. And if I had to label myself, I would say that I am a gourmet peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Ooh, crunchy?
With some of that thick-cut smoked applewood bacon on it.
Oh.
How can you put bacon on a PB&J?
You can put bacon on anything.
I've never heard of that.
That sounds good.
I've never heard of that.
We're going to try that in the future after we digest what we had tonight.
And maybe the tomato, too. Okay. I don't feel...
PB&J with tomato and bacon?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're next level. I
don't feel like I've reached the BLT status since I've only been listening for the last 6 months or so.
Okay.
But since I have, I've become obsessed with listening to you guys every week. However, I want to know more about Alan.
Okay.
On one of the podcasts last week, he mentioned working at a corporate desk job, and I realized I have no clue what this guy's done his whole life. The fans want to know. What kind of jobs have you worked in the past? What was your first job? Besides run this, you hear that? Besides run this amazing podcast.
Thank you, honey. Thank you for pushing that button like you do.
And side hustle landscaping. What else do you do career-wise? Maybe
side hustle landscaping.
Maybe on one of the upcoming podcasts, you could do a quick summary of what's gotten you to this place in your life so far. I've listened to the Kid Craddock Morning Show, nationally syndicated, for years, so I feel like I know a lot about Kelly.
She knows my story.
But not so much about Alan. I really appreciate you taking the time to read my letter, and I look forward to the next podcast. Love from your faithful PB&J with bacon and tomato, Alexis. P.S. Alan, you broke my heart when you said you didn't love Kroger. I don't like Kroger.
You don't like this Kroger.
I don't like Krogering.
He doesn't like the one that's near us.
I don't like that I have to be a Kroger member to get a discount.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Who cares?
I always have to plug in your phone
you
number to
do
get a discount.
as well.
Well, I have a TomTom card. It is my favorite store to go to. However, the Kroger in the Augusta, Georgia area does not sound like the one you described. All of our Krogers have nice, straight, organized aisles. But yes, Trader Joe's is truly amazing too. Alexis.
Yeah, Alexis. The Kroger here remodeled a little bit, and Alan hasn't given it a chance. But I will say this is the second letter now from people wanting to know our story, although Alexis already knows mine. So why don't you start then? That's fine.
Well, I mean, I don't have to start. You can start.
I was about to start, and then you
started. Well, go ahead and
start.
Well, that's just because I knew we had a letter from Alexis.
But she wants to know about you.
Oh, well.
So you start.
Well, I don't know. I like to keep people guessing.
Oh my God.
I'll
go. No.
I was born at an early age, and here I am.
Alan, come on. Why are you
Go ahead.
ornery?
You start.
Oh gosh. All right. Alan's being difficult tonight.
I'm not.
He's digesting a lump of something.
Well, that and there's a dog next to me that's crinkling up like a white gibbon with a rainbow mohawk.
Okay, she just left the room.
Good night. Thank you.
So maybe now
I can concentrate.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, now I can concentrate.
Do you want me to go still? Or
yeah, go ahead.
All right. Real briefly, I'm not going to bog everybody down. My very brief history.
Bob down alert.
I was born and raised in South Carolina, born in Mullins, raised in Florence. That means nothing to the majority of the people listening right now.
Flowtown.
My family grew up in a hellfire, brimstone, fundamental Baptist, Bible-believing church. And I went to the Christian school that was run by the church.
Like a tabernacle?
No, it was just a Baptist church, but it was independent Baptist. We weren't part of like the Southern Baptist Association, like a lot of churches, in the South are. What?
No.
So when people do that song, I feel like it's almost like they're making fun of the South.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm proud to be from the
I'm
South.
from the South.
I'm very proud to be
Yes.
from the South. I love South Carolina.
God's
That is
country.
my home.
Yes.
So anyway, but it shaped a lot of my thinking, and it was a very strict, very narrow-minded way of thinking. But love the Lord, and a lot of what I learned as a child is probably got me through a lot of sticky situations through this day. Alan's shutting the door now that Zoe's out of the room, so we don't have to hear that crunching anymore. All right. So when I was in high school, I decided I wanted to be a teacher, but then I decided, well, maybe I'd really like to be an actress. I love sitcoms. So I went to a talent convention and I met the owner of a radio station who said, you know what? I think you're funny. I think you're talented. I think you could have a career in radio. And I was 19 years old and that never even crossed my mind to do radio. But I called my local radio station and said, hey, so-and-so said I should be on the radio. And they said, well, come on down. Let's see what you can do. They put me in a room with a tape recorder and just said, start talking, and left me alone for like 30 minutes. And I didn't know what to do. I'm just 19. So I sat there and I was like, well, this is a long time ago. I started doing like a Valley girl accent, and I started doing
Give us some.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even remember now. It's like, I can't remember. I'm like totally tubular or whatever. I was 19.
Is that a Valley girl from like Atlanta? Or?
No, Valley girls are from California.
No, well, I know that, but that sounded like a Valley girl from.
I'm trying to get through this quickly.
Okay.
And then I did like Dr. Ruth.
Why are you trying to jip the listener? We got all night.
And then I said, well, I can sing opera and I can do things like that. I was just trying to say, because at the time radio was very, when I was with that age, it was a lot of skits and, fake voices and phone calls and things like that. So that's what I thought.
Fake voices?
Yeah. Like you'd call somebody and it was a joke. Everybody knew it was a joke. It's like, we're going to call Dr. Ruth. And everybody knows it's Dr. Ruth. It's me pretending to be Dr. Ruth.
Lewd.
Well, a sex therapist.
Lewd.
Anyway, so he came in the room, listened to the tape for a minute, and he said, look, we're not really hiring right now, but if you want to come in and sit with the morning show guy, if we use you, we'll pay you. I was like, great. So I showed up every day with a box of donuts, and sometimes I just sat there all morning and just absorbed what was happening. Some days he'd use me. Great. Within about 2 or 3 months, the news girl quit, and maybe the news girl. Perfect. Then I decided I still want to be an actress. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where everybody goes that wants to be an actress. But I had an agent there, like a lot of commercials. And now Georgia is a huge film state now. This is when it was just getting started. I stayed there about 1.5 years waiting tables at Ruby Tuesdays and JB Winberry's, and went back home because I promised my mama I'd finish college. And I did. I graduated from Francis Marion University with a BA in English.
The Patriots.
The Patriots. In December of 1983. A guy I worked with at the radio, because I got my job back at the radio station. And I would sit in with the nighttime DJ. He was great. His name was Chris Booker. He's now in LA. You can look him up. He found this ad for this job in Dallas. He said, Kelly, you've got to apply for this job. I said, I don't want to go to Dallas. Why would I want to go to Dallas? I had a crush on Chris Booker. My family was all in Florence. I didn't want to leave. He said, if you're bigger than this, you can do it. And he really forced me to kind of apply for it. And I did. And I auditioned and got the job. So I went from market number nothing, jumped to Dallas at the time. I think it was number 6 or 7 in the country, which was a huge leap, with the Kid Craddock morning show. And Kid just, I don't know, we clicked. Our chemistry was so great. And after about a month or 2 of being in the big city from Florence, I had a mini nervous breakdown, had to go to therapy for a while because it was a huge adjustment. But things worked out fine. I've been doing this show now for 26 years. In that process, I've done a lot of fun, random stuff. I've gotten to go to a lot of award shows. I've met a lot of celebrities. I Well, it's just part of my job, babe.
Dying.
And I was married before to my daughter's father. That did not work out. And now I was divorced with a baby, got back in the dating scene, had the best time of my life in my 40s. I dated. I looked the best I ever looked in my 40s. Ladies, if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're still single, don't worry about it. 40s are coming. They're going to be awesome. And then I met Alan. And we got married when I was 50.
Well, you kind of rushed through the end of it there.
Well, I was just trying to give him the Cliff's Notes version.
Well, that was really the Cliff Notes version.
Because it's too much.
You went from I married what did you say? The father of my child didn't work out, and then I met Alan.
Well, I dated in my 40s.
You dated in your 40s, and then you met Alan.
Then I met Alan.
Okay. Well, I guess
and a month before we got married, we started this podcast. And the original intent behind it was, blending families, second marriage for both of us.
Hey, man. Hey, Kelly, you think Alan will do a podcast with you? Hey, man. What'd you say?
And he said, yes.
I said, what's a podcast?
Right. But now you're an expert.
Remember when thank you.
In fact, we just celebrated our third year anniversary of our podcast, and we both forgot.
June 1st.
Just like a regular anniversary. We just forget.
Yeah.
So June, this is a good way to remember. June 1st is our podcast anniversary. July 1st is our wedding anniversary.
Yeah. Well, I better not forget the wedding anniversary.
What is year 3? Year 1 is paper.
I don't know. I really don't. I know year 1 is paper, right? I don't know the rest of them.
I'm going to do something that makes Alan so mad.
Oh.
Hey, Siri. What is a traditional 3rd year wedding anniversary gift? I found an answer. It's displayed on your iPhone. Leather.
Leather. Really?
There you go.
Speaking of leather, you have another letter.
But you got to tell your background.
Well, I will, but that kind of leather transitions into this letter. This letter is from Julie. Julie says, I have a couple of questions. I listen while I walk every day. Love you both. Number 1, what kind of rat trap are you using to catch rats?
What does that have to do with leather?
And or bait? Well, question number 2 is about leather. I've seen a big one in my backyard this week. I need to get it out. You seem to have a good track record in capturing. Julie, I use Victor traps available at Home Depot.
They look like a regular wooden rat trap, except it's heavier plastic. Right?
I bought the wood ones and the plastic ones. I have not killed one rat with a wood one. I don't know what it is, but the wood ones for me don't work.
The bigger, it's just
maybe you're just a little slower or something. I don't know.
But you also put some goo or something in it.
The plastic ones, though, I got 10 rats. So.
But what did you put into it? The bait?
It's a gel bait available at Homey D's.
Right there next to the rat.
Yeah, right there. It's like it comes in a little bottle. It looks like an eyedropper, and I think it's by is it Black Cat? I think Black Cat's the company.
Sounds good.
Those are the firecrackers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's right there next to the rat.
It's a gel bait. Some people say you can use peanut butter. I use that gel bait, and I got 10. And then her second question is, what kind or brand of product did you use to stain your leather furniture? Heard that yesterday while walking, and I have a chair I want to do. Julie, I looked on Amazon, and I found a stain by Fortivo. Hashtag not an ad. Fortivo. And it's like a paste. It's almost like it's like a cream, but it's a dye. And you first clean your leather chair off or clean your furniture off with a leather cleaner, and then spread this stuff on the spots that are really worn, let it sit for a few hours, and then you just kind of buff it and clean it off and then condition it, and it looks brand new.
We should have done a YouTube video on it.
Oh, well, that would have been really smart to do that.
Yeah. After the fact, we think of these things.
Yeah.
We've got to be better about that, Alan.
Yes, we do.
My big hair rolling video is available on YouTube. That is stimulating content right there.
Tell you what, that's one of the most watched videos. Okay.
And now you can go more detailed. I just feel like I've told my story so many times in 26 years that I kind of breeze through it because I assume a lot of people already know it.
Yeah.
But your story we haven't told very much.
Well, I like to stay under the radar.
You do?
I'm just kidding. Okay, so where can I start? So my mother and father, my mom's from the Philippines, and my dad he's actually from Atlanta. They met in the Philippines because my dad was in the U.S. Air Force, and he was stationed in Manila at Clark Air Force Base. So they met there in '69. They moved to the States shortly after that. And then I was hatched in August of 1971 in Illinois, on an air base in Illinois called Chanute Air Base.
So that's closed now, isn't it?
It's closed now. Chanute used to be in a small town in the middle of Illinois called Rantoul. So most people don't know where in the hell Rantoul is, but it's right smack dab in the middle of Illinois, and cornfields as far as you can see.
Not close to Chicago?
No, Chicago's way more north. But Champaign or Urbana is the closest city of any size. That's where the University of Illinois is. So anyway, I was just born there, and then we moved. And since my dad was in the service, we moved around a little bit. We were in California for a while. We were in Georgia for a while. And my dad had to take an assignment in Thailand when I was about 3. And he was gone a year, and me and my mother lived with my grandpa and grandmother, my dad's mom and dad, in Atlanta. So we lived there for about a year. When my dad came back, we went to a base in Texas, in Wichita Falls, Texas, called Shepherd Air Force Base.
Still there.
Still there. And Shepherd, we moved there when I was 4. So this would have been in 1975. And my dad got a job at Shepherd. He was assigned there at Shepherd. And we were there, gosh, we lived in base housing from 75 to 80. And then in 80, we moved off the base, and my mom and dad bought a house. And it was the house they lived in for the next about 25 years, maybe even longer than that. But I grew up in Wichita Falls, basically. I went to the same school district, kinder through 6th, the same school district for junior high, 7th and 8th. And then I graduated from Burke Burnett High School in 1989. And Burke Burnett is a really small town that's just north of Wichita Falls, right on the Red River. And where we lived north of Wichita Falls, it was in the Burke School District. So it's a little strange. I lived in Wichita Falls, but I went to another town school district. Mm-hmm. So my bus ride or my commute to school every day was up Interstate 44 to Burke Burnett. I'd ride the bus or hitch a ride with somebody and then come back. So 89, I graduated. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was really, really into golf. I was actually a very good golfer. I played in high school, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was my life at the time. That's all I did because
thought you'd go pro at one point.
Well, that was my dream. And I had a few girlfriends, but I wasn't really in the what am I trying to say? I wasn't a real popular guy in high school. They play football and they play basketball. I play golf,
It's a loner sport.
Yeah, and it's a loner sport. So I'd play on the weekends. My mom would drop me off in the morning. The crack of dawn, she'd leave me there. I'd play 18 holes. I'd eat lunch, play 18 more.
By yourself?
Yeah, sometimes by myself. And she would come back in the evening and pick me up. She'd come out and putt with me for a little while and then pick me up. So
that makes me sad a little bit.
No, I enjoyed it because
as long as I know you're happy.
It was me walking. I love being outside. So to me, it was great.
And see, that's why you're so good at being alone. I was just talking to somebody about that today. I can be alone for about one day. If Alan goes out of town, the kids aren't here, that day too, I am so depressed. I can't do it. But Alan and I had to learn that Alan needs some alone time. So he'd come into his man cave and he'd be in here for hours, and I'd peek in. I'm like, don't you want to sit out here with me? Nope. But I took it really personally when we first, got in this house. But then I realized it wasn't personal. You just need your alone time.
Yeah. But in 1989, when I graduated high school, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. Honest to God. I know it's a lot different now where kids are even thinking about what path they're going to take in college when they're in junior high.
I know, but I still think the majority are like you and me. When I graduated, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. And I didn't get my real job till I was 27. Mm-hmm. I was working 3 part-time jobs, living with my parents when I finally got this job. And I was 27. I
had no damn idea. And my birthday is such that I was always the youngest. In fact, when I graduated high school, I was 17, and then I turned 18 that summer. So when I went to Tech, I was 18 years old. I was always the youngest because my birthday was August, you know. But anyhow, the way I ended up at Tech, I wanted to play golf, and I had talked to a few people. I was a good golfer, but I wasn't a great golfer. It wasn't like I was being offered scholarships or anything. But I talked to somebody at it was called Texas Wesleyan at the time, to maybe play golf there. I went to North Texas and did a little tour at North Texas and looked around. But then for whatever reason, that summer, I still didn't know where I was going to go to school. And my family and I, we took a vacation and we went through Lubbock. And my dad said, hey, why don't we just swing through Texas Tech University and you can take a look at the campus. I'm like, well, okay. You know, and I had no freaking idea. So we go through the campus and I'm looking around and I don't know. It just felt right. It was a cool, to me, and a lot of people badmouth Lubbock. To me, it was a nice looking campus. It was far enough away from home where I felt like, okay, I'll be at college.
And a little independent.
But then it was close enough to where if I wanted to drive home and see my parents and, you know, I needed help with laundry or something, I could do that too. And I just liked it. That was kind of the bottom line. And my dad did a little bit of research. And he said, well, they got, you know, what do you want to do? I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, why don't you start off in engineering? He goes, you know, engineers make pretty good money. And I'm like, okay, what's an engineer? Like,
what went wrong with that?
One of those dudes that drives a train? I mean, I had no idea.
Why don't you stick with that? We'd be loaded.
He's like, no, a guy that like designs things. There's different types of engineers. But he said, you know, my dad, my grandfather, he was a mechanical engineer. He worked for Gulf Oil his whole career and did very well. And so I signed up at Texas Tech my freshman year in engineering. And I was in mechanical engineering. That was my major.
Because you loved your grandpa.
I love my grandpa, yeah. And I thought, well, if he could do it, I can do it too. Now, I got into some of those math classes. Oof. And I was a great student in college. I made really great grades. And even in the math classes I took, I did well. But it just wasn't for me. I just thought, man, that's a lot of math. And I didn't know it at the time, but I'm not a analytical math-like mind. I think I'm more of a abstract creative mind. And at the time I didn't know that, but I thought,
well, college is about figuring that stuff out too.
Yeah. So I only did that for a year, and then I switched majors, which always puts you behind. And then I switched into the business school. And I did business school for a while. And honestly, I hated that too.
Yeah.
So by my sophomore year, I had taken a bunch of basics and I had no idea like what path I was going to go down. But then I was talking to a friend one day and he was telling me about his classes and he said, hey, I'm in the systems technology program. And I'm like, well, what is that? He says, oh, you study computers. I'm like, computers? I said, well, I logged onto a computer one time in high school, but remember, this is the early 90s. Yeah. So computers were so much different. He said, yeah, you study like computers. It's going to be the next like big thing. All the companies are going to want people.
All the cool kids are doing it.
All the companies are going to want somebody that knows computers. So I ended up enrolling in that school.
And it clicked?
And it clicked. And I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. And I still finished in 4 years, even though I changed my major twice. I had to go to summer school one semester. But I graduated from Texas Tech in May of 93. Now the job market.
And I graduated in December of 93 after dropping out. Because remember, I'm older than Alan.
Yeah. Well, just a little bit older. But the job market in the early 90s was not good. And again, I have a degree now, but I don't really know what I'm going to do. So this is how long ago this was. I was looking in the classified ads in the Dallas Morning News. And I see an ad for a training specialist, and it's with a company called Lennox, Lennox, and they're actually headquartered in Richardson, which is the suburb just south of us here in Plano. And I sent them a paper resume. I remember printing it out, sent them a paper resume, and they called me. They called me for an interview. They said, you want to come to Dallas for an interview?
And this was when you were in Lubbock, you said?
I was in Lubbock, yeah. And I said, yes, absolutely. So I went. I remember I went.
So excited! Did you get a new shirt?
I went to Men's Warehouse.
Yeah.
And I think about it what I was wearing now. I bought this really sweet looking tweed kind of jacket.
Yeah.
These olive baggy kind of MC Hammer looking pants,
it was the early 90s.
And I had these big round Steve Urkel glasses.
Yeah,
you know?
You're sharp.
Oh, I was looking sweet.
We look back at pictures of us now, we think, then we thought we looked so good. Now we think we look ridiculous, but we did look good at the time.
Yeah.
That's what was considered good looking.
And I went to Steinmart and I bought a pleather briefcase.
An attaché.
An attaché. So I drove 6 hours to Dallas to do an in-person interview. And I thought it went pretty well. I drove 6 hours back. And a few days later, they called me again and said, "You want to come for a second round?" And I was like, absolutely. So I drove 6 more hours back to Dallas, did a second round of interviews with a bunch of people, and then drove 6 hours back to Lovin.
Wow.
So I've got a lot of, it wasn't desperation, but I thought, well, I got as good a chance of getting this job as anybody else. Well, they hired me and they told me, we had about 200 people apply for this job.
Wow. You beat out that many people.
And they said, that's what they told me. So I started my career.
What about you got you the job? Did they tell you that?
I don't recall.
Was it those pants?
I don't recall it. What exactly?
Did you wear the same outfit every interview?
Well, they got me on the cheap. I know that because my first job out of college. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was good money for a guy right out of school. In '93, I was making $27,000. $27,000 right out of school. Yeah. 18 years or 20 years old. And
some people be happy to have that now.
Yeah. So I worked for Lennox as a training specialist, and I've told Kelly the story before. But at the time, the company, everyone was getting a computer, and I trained people in a classroom on how to use the computer. And they would come into my class. I would teach them how it works. And
I mean, like the basics, like this is how you turn it on.
Oh yeah,
because they didn't know anything.
Well, from that to this is a word processor called Microsoft Word. It can do this, this, and this, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do some exercises. You're going to create a document. Or Excel. This is a spreadsheet. This is how you add rows and all that stuff.
I wish I knew. I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
You could teach me.
And then email. Email was new at the time.
Yeah, I had to learn that. But I never learned how to do a spreadsheet or Excel. And I know at the time, that was whenever you apply for a job, they were like, can you do Microsoft Word and Excel? That was like one of the job requirements.
Right.
And I always had to say no. I don't know what I was doing.
Right.
I knew how to type really fast, though.
But I won't bore you with all of the career details. But basically, from '93 to the year 2000, when did 9/11 happen? 2001?
I think that's right.
Yeah, 2001. So from about '93 to 2001, I was in different types of training or writing jobs where I was communicating.
Always with Lennox?
No, different companies, but different communications type jobs. I actually met a person that I would eventually marry my first go around at Lennox, and I was married in 1997 or 8. I can't remember now. 98. I was married in 1998 for the first time. And let's see, in 2001, I was laid off because of 9/11. The company I was with was a startup, and they canned half the company, and I was out of work for about 3 months. And that was a really, really tough time, So I had a lot of contacts still at Lennox at the time. So I did some calling around, and I was offered another job to come back to Lennox in 2002. So from 2002 to 2014, I was back at Lennox, but this time I got into marketing. And so I did a career change after 9/11. I was doing writing and training. 9/11 happened, and then I couldn't really find a job like that anymore.
Everybody knew how to use computers.
Everybody knew how to use computers by the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, crap, I've got to learn a new skill. And I love marketing. I love advertising. I always have. I always thought it was interesting, but I just don't know a lot about it. Well, they took a chance on me, and they put me in charge of one of their company's websites.
So you also went back to school?
Well, I didn't go back to school until 2003.
Okay.
So while I was learning marketing, I also went back to school. So in 2003, I started at the University of Texas at Dallas in their MBA program. So I did that for 5 years, and I got my master's in business administration in 2008. Okay, so while all this is going on, my first child, Brooke, was born in 2005. My second child, Cole, was born in 2008. And then my third child, Dylan, was born in 2012. And all this time from 2002 to 2016, and now we're getting into when Kelly and I met, I was working for Lennox or a Lennox company in marketing. And I kind of moved up the food chain. And then I started doing jobs where I would travel all over the country, and I would present in front of like 1,000 people in this big auditorium. We talk about our marketing plans, our advertising, and this is how you should market in your local area. You know, we would talk to all our customers. So lots of great experience at Lennox. But in 2016, this was actually after I met Kelly. I met Kelly in January of 2016.
Yep.
And I left Lennox in 17, didn't I? 16 or 17?
Were we married? No, you left before we were married.
I left before we were married.
That's right. So
yeah, I left in early 17, I believe.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I met Kelly in January of 16, and then I left Lennox in 17. Okay, let me back up just a little bit. I was divorced in 2015, okay? And
so I got him right when he was over it.
So there, again, I'm not going all the reasons for that. It just didn't work. It just didn't work, and unfortunately, it didn't work. But it was a very, very traumatic thing for me. I'm not going to lie. Going through a divorce was one of the hardest things I've ever been through. It was very, 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 very difficult. But in 2000, I was divorced in 15. So in 15. And then early in 16, I was single, and like Kelly, I dated around a lot. I was a single dad. I had 3 kids, 3 small kids. And I just remember that being one of the toughest times, but also one of the most fulfilling times for me, because I thought, gosh, I've never been able to spend this much time with my kids. And now that it's just me, I have to do everything. I got to change. Dylan was in diapers. I got to change diapers. I got to feed him baby food. I got to find a car seat that works. I got to set up a room with a playpen. I got to buy a crib. I mean, I was doing all this by myself, and it was very, very difficult. But I remember that time when I was on my own thinking, I can do this. I can do it. And then while I was, single, I was dating. And I've told Kelly this too. I dated 2 other people pretty seriously before I met Kelly. One, she was a great person, but she was not going to put up with my stuff, and I don't blame her one bit, because
what stuff?
Well,
what stuff did I put up with that she didn't?
Well, you didn't have to put up with this, because when I was with her, I was not serious about being in a relationship.
Oh.
Yeah. I was still in having fun, going out, dating mode, and she was serious. And she called me out. She said, you're being an asshole. You're not taking this seriously. And I would laugh it off, whatever. Well,
and then she laughed.
After a while, she said, well, enough of you, dude. I'm out, because I'm not playing a game here. I'm looking for somebody serious. And that was a little bit of a wake-up call to me. I was like, wow, okay. There are women out there who they're not just out to have fun. They're serious. And then there was another gal that I went out with, and things with her were I thought that they were going to progress, and I thought that we would eventually be together, and that didn't work out either.
Why?
It was me again.
What'd you do this time?
I couldn't do it. I just was not in the frame of mind where I could do it. So those are just 2 stories.
But then he met me.
But I dated a lot of different women in Dallas-Fort Worth.
He's got some great stories, by the way.
And had a lot of fun and met some very interesting people. I learned a lot about being single and dating, because I had not dated since the early 90s. And the whole dating landscape was so much different, than it was when I was
And it was so
young.
much fun. He decided to give up and never date again. And then he met me, because he said, I'm going to give it one more chance. New year, one more chance.
That's exactly what happened. So at the end of 15, beginning of 16, I was really discouraged with dating. I had been in some serious relationships that didn't work out. I was single. I had 3 small children. I'm in my 40s, and I'm thinking, there's just nobody I think that I'm going to be able to find that's going to
make you want to settle down.
Make me want to settle down or accept me for me and my situation. It's just kind of a unique deal I've got here. I travel a lot. I've got 3 small kids. Let's face it, I'm a little different. I'll say I'm a little different. So, babe. So, and I thought I'm going to give it one more chance here in 2016. And I'm going to do Bumble. I've been doing Bumble. I've been doing Tinder, but I'm going to focus on Bumble. And I'm just going to try it one more time because I really feel like if I don't meet anybody, I'll be fine. If I do meet somebody, hey, there you go. Then we'll just see where it goes.
There you go.
And then I swiped on Kelly. And I think we've told some stories about our first couple of conversations and dates and things like that. But
we met for sushi, and if we've done previous shows about online dating, and they say that one of the best first date experiences for online dating first dates is sushi. I don't eat sushi. So ladies, if you don't eat sushi, there is something, or men, if you're listening, there is something at a sushi restaurant you can eat. I eat the cooked ones. The California rolls are all cooked. They have vegetable rolls. They have fried shrimp tempura. So there's stuff you could eat, but there's something about the activity and the something about sushi that just makes for a really great first date.
Yeah, well, and if you sit at the bar, which we did, you're sitting like right next to one another.
Yeah.
It's very intimate. Like Kelly said, you're it's a little project you're working on.
I had sake for the first time with Alan. And so, it's like some unique first experiences. So it's a great first date you might want to recommend. But man, pinning down our first date location was a mess. You kept going back and forth between that and this place called the Ice Bar or something.
Well, that was one of my single guy hangouts in East Plano.
Thankfully, you don't want to go to the single guys hangout because then suddenly all eyes are on you, right? Especially if they know you're there, they'd be all on me, and that would have probably been awkward.
Yeah, and I had taken other people there, so I'm glad we didn't go there.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, I
ended up taking me there later.
I had only been to Densetsu one other time, and that was for a work lunch. So.
And you liked it. Well, that's our place.
Yeah,
Densetsu.
So
anyway.
Yeah. So.
And then Alan left Lennox. Went to another luxury fabric and furniture company.
Yeah, I switched companies. I was just tired of Lennox. Lennox is a great company.
You just couldn't go any higher in the
I just couldn't go any higher than I thought I could go, and I'd been there forever. It was just time for a scene change. I made a scene change, and I did that for about 1.5 years. And then one day Kelly says to me, she goes, "Have you ever thought about just start your own thing? And have you ever thought about doing marketing for us and maybe helping me," talking about her, helping me with my off the radio things that I do.
And the reason I said that
appearances and things.
He was miserable.
Yeah, I didn't.
He was miserable. That's why I didn't just come up with this out of the blue.
Yeah, I didn't really.
He had a horrible commute.
I didn't care for that.
He was angry every time because he worked all the way downtown. If he had to pick up his kids, it was even further beyond where we lived. And it was just, he was always running late. It was just a mess. And he was so unhappy. I said, well, why not do something else?
Yeah. And Kelly was the one that kind of planted the seed. And I thought, really? You think I can do that? And she's like, well, yeah. Why don't you start your own marketing job, or your own doing marketing for people, or marketing for our podcast, which we had started at the time, or helping me with appearances and scheduling and contracts and things that I don't really like to do. I don't like to do the business stuff. I just like to show up.
I don't want to do it.
She don't want to do it. And at first I thought, well, there's no way I can do that. How am I going to do that? But then I did it. You know, I started that in 2000. I quit that other job and started that in 2017. And then since then we've started, the podcast has done very well. We started Emma, Kelly, and Me. I dabbled in DFW slingshots for a while.
You just try different things.
Yeah, we're owner investors in a restaurant now called Oat that will open in hopefully this year in August, depending on how things go in Dallas. But yeah, that's how I kind of ended up where I am, and it's not a super exciting story, but
it was longer than mine, though.
It's well,
I gave the cliffs notes.
I had to get everybody caught up.
Yeah, no, I like hearing your story because every time you tell it, there's something like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but
That's cool.
yeah, that's it. I think a lot about. Sometimes I think, like, and I've told this story before. Kelly's first big birthday bash that I got to go to. I think it was her 49th, and it was at Big Al's McKinney Avenue Tavern. And
so we'd started dating in January, and this was in April.
Yeah, and he had hired Vanilla Ice to do her birthday party. And they invited us all to go up on the stage. And I was just standing kind of in the back, just kind of dancing. But Kelly was up on the stage.
It's the most vulgar I've ever been, probably. And Alan always posts this video of me basically humping Vanilla Ice.
I love it.
And I'm like, my mother sees this video. This is so, my daughter's going to see this video. But, you know, it was my birthday.
But I remember looking at Kelly, and she's dancing with Vanilla Ice. To my left is a clown. To my right is a Ninja Turtle. There's confetti. There's smoke. There's people, throwing up water and water bottles. Yeah, and there's a crowd.
Sea of people.
There was, I don't know, there were 1,000 people.
There was a sea of people.
A lot of people. And I'm just thinking to myself, how in the hell did I get here?
Bumble.
Yeah.
You swiped right.
Right. But no, I say that also knowing that.
Was that when you knew I've got to be with this woman?
Well, no.
Because life is just going to be one great big party.
No. I've always thought, even before I met Kelly, I've always thought I'm fortunate. And I've always thought, things are going to work out for me somehow. I've always thought that. I've always thought there's bad stuff that happens to you in life, but it's going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. And that's proven to be true.
Yeah. And there's a lot of bad stuff going on for a lot of people right now, and they think, how's it ever going to get better? But it does, right?
Yep.
It does. So that's Alan's story. That was my story in a very quick little nutshell. Thanks for sharing it, honey. And thank y'all for asking and for even being curious about that. If you make little small changes in your life, that's what they always tell you. If you want to make some big changes and you just dive right in, sometimes it's too overwhelming and it doesn't work out. But the small changes you make, like maybe you just cut soft drinks from your diet and suddenly oh my gosh, I dropped 10 pounds. Maybe you start not hitting the snooze button, for once, and you're starting to get up on time and your day gets going. It's the little changes that make a big difference. Well, let me tell you what else. You can make some great lifestyle changes. Little changes can make a difference. Like luxury towels can make you feel like your bathroom has suddenly become like a spa. Loungewear turns function into luxury. And you get the right bed sheets, you feel like you were at a retreat. And we can both vouch for that thanks to Brooklinen.
Brooklinen.
Yes, Brooklinen. You know them already as the internet's favorite sheets, but they're also expanding what they offer beyond the bedding. They've got the loungewear, the towels. They've got gift items. If you haven't been to brooklinen.com lately, you need to go check. They've started adding furniture. They are out of control because people are just so happy with not just the quality, but it's the luxury brands. It's like a luxury feel without that luxury markup because they cut out the middleman. It's direct to you. And we love their bedding right now. Now we've got the bath towels and we're just so happy with it. If you want to make some small changes, self-care, we're about feeling good in our homes right now, right? You want to give the gift of comfort, consider Brooklinen. They have some great options beyond the bedding. When we changed to our new bed sheets, you were amazed at the difference. It truly was. Alan's like, how big of a difference can it make until we got those Brooklinen sheets?
You got to feel that comfort.
It is, and you owe it to yourself. You spend a third of your life in bed if you're lucky, and you want to make sure when you climb in that bed at the end of the day, you want to put all the cares behind you. You want to wrap yourself in comfort. You want to wrap yourself in Brooklinen sheets after you've taken a shower and dabbed off with them Brooklinen towels.
And brooklinen.com is the perfect place to start making small changes that make big differences. And Brooklinen is so confident in their product that all their sheets, comforters, loungewear, and towels come with a lifetime warranty. So go on. That's a long time. So go on, make yourself comfortable. Get 10% off your first order and free shipping when you use promo code Kelly. Okay. Kellie.
I love how you're always surprised when it's always Kelly.
Only at brooklinen.com. Brooklyn, everything you need to live your most comfortable life.
Thank you, Brooklinen. Thank you.
You know, I love Brooklinen, but if I wanted to go to brooklinen.com and use my promo code,
it'd be Kelly.
I wouldn't get a discount.
No, it has to be Kelly.
It has to be Kelly. Yeah.
With an IE.
Yeah, it has to be Kelly.
Well, we have got an anxious dog outside that door waiting for us to play with them. We have got full bellies and we need to take ourselves to bed and wrap ourselves in our Brooklinen sheets. We've got some tidbit news and some more letters and stuff we can get to, but we can do this next podcast because we have been flapping our gums long enough. Do you agree, babe?
I would agree with that assessment.
But I've got some stuff that's going to be fun, some really interesting things that I can share with you next podcast. So I do hope you join us then. And if you have any questions, we get emails at kellyandallen.com, KELLIE and ALLEN.com. There's a link there to contact us there, right?
There is, yes. Or you can just send an email to podcast@kellyandallen.com.
There you go. That's even easier. Podcast@kellyandallen.com.
You can hit us up on the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. The podcast has all those.
Yeah, you can ask us anything. We're pretty open book.
We're
pretty much an open book.
Well, for the most part.
For the most part. Within reason.
Well, I mean, I tell more than you do.
I feel like I've told so much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've done radio since I was 19, Alan.
Dime.
That's not a dime. It's a fact.
Dime.
It's a fact. And I've told my story so many times. I think that's why I kind of rush through because I'm like, I've told this story so many times. Everybody's heard it.
Hey, sorry.
And that's not true. Everybody hasn't heard it.
Alexis wanted to know.
I know. I probably should.
It says, look, who is Alan Evans?
There you go.
I told her.
There you go. Because she already knew my story.
She knew your story.
And that's fine because I've told it so much. I told so much. But it's always fun to learn new things.
Yeah, I told a lot too, but I didn't tell everything.
Well, y'all need to ask Alan.
I didn't tell everything.
What else is there to know?
Oh, within every one of those little details I've mentioned, there is dozens and dozens of stories.
And we have a lifetime of podcasts to get to them all, but not tonight. We're going to bed.
All right, babe. Well, this was fun. Love you desperately.
I love you.
Love our listeners desperately.
I love y'all.
Alexis, thank you. We love you desperately. We love all our listeners desperately. We love Andrea desperately. Just giving her a special shout out for sending us a real letter. It is assembled. It's actually a card. She assembled.
It was a craft project.
Yes, and we will read this letter from Andrea, one of our very best customers. We'll read this next time. She made a card with a little picture of all three of us. Andrea, Kelly, and I.
And she invited us out for margaritas.
And I love Margie's
desperately. Don't think we're not going to take her up on that.
We will.
We will.
And I'm also sure we'll podcast again real soon.
We will.
And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich.
I didn't realize we'd take that much time telling our stories, and I've got so much other good stuff to get to. I'll save it, right? That's what I said.
Lovins, I'm almost 50 years old, Catching somebody up on my life story does take just a little bit of explaining. I told one version of it. You didn't like that, so I had to go into some detail. I was born at an early age, and here I am.
Oh, yeah. No, you have to add a little bit more color.
Color. What are the odds one of the two dogs has shit on the floor out there? I see one of them laying on the... Zoe drugged the towel out of the bathroom.
Yeah,
and now she's laying on it.
I know. I was using it as a bath mat because we didn't have.
No, I don't care that she's doing it.
We're getting our master tile in our master bathroom. The tile, it's got like a big crack in it, and we've got to get that fixed. So we're not allowed to use our master shower right now. It has to, the guy said make sure it's dry. You don't use it for a day or so before. So we had to haul our stuff out to this bathroom we only use to get the dogs baths. It's just like a little spare bathroom, and I got in there to take a shower and I didn't have a bath mat, so I put a towel down. That's what we're talking about. Not that makes any difference to anybody. are you doing?
Calling her. She's like, somebody said, I listened here, so I don't have to listen tomorrow. I'm like,
no, you have to listen tomorrow.
That's not how this works.
We're going to have to stop doing YouTube lives because we have to have you. You have to listen to the podcast. Please. We need you to listen to the podcast. We don't get any credit for y'all listening on YouTube.
Yeah. Amen. I told you guys that video's not a good idea. Amen.
I know, but we like doing it with you.
I told you guys 2 years ago you shouldn't do this. Amen. Remember
Who said they weren't going to listen? Is it a faithful?
Shelly.
Is she faithful? Is she one of our best customers?
Honestly, I'm not familiar with Shelly and if she is a best customer or not. She may very well be.
She's going to be demoted if she doesn't listen to the podcast.
She may very well be, but I don't know that. We know you are, Bethany. Bethany's becoming one of our very, very best customers.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Bethany's always been there, but she's been a lot more engaged lately. Oh. Yeah, Carolyn, this isn't a listen here. This is just this YouTube thing. This is just for fun. We don't get credit for this. You got to show downloads in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Audio Boom, anywhere that you listen to a podcast. That's how we get credit. Credit meaning like when Bossman George and all of Bossman George's people go to sell the podcast to a sponsor or to an advertiser, the advertiser wants to know how many downloads do they get. They don't care about video. They want to know how many audio downloads they get. This video is just for fun. So that's why it's important for us, We just appreciate it. We'd very much appreciate it. Yeah. You don't have to. We're not saying you have to. YouTube, you don't have to. But wouldn't you love to go back and listen to it again? But here's the thing. If we don't show downloads and listens and they can't sell the podcast, you got no podcast, we survive because we have listens. So that's kind of the deal. Oh, Shelly, yeah. You'd cry. Yeah, I'd cry too. What? Here, hold on. I bet. I don't know why you think that's so funny. Hey, Ben. Hey, Alan. Hello, Nose. It's just a goofy looking. Okay, you're going to be mad at this. To get the Cliff's Notes version of Kelly's life and the War and Peace version of Alan's. That's interesting. That's funny. You know how many times. That's funny though, right? You know how many times. I was just saying. I'm not going to send it if you. You know how many times we've been on this podcast and you've yammered on about. I'm trying to tell my life story in 15 minutes, but you'll yammer on 30 minutes about how to peel a banana or something. I know, but I'm the one that's talking too much. No, I would just say it's a longer version. Does that hurt your feelings? The War and Peace is longer, and I did the Cliff's Notes, and you did the War and Peace version. I don't give a rat's what it says there. Your feelings are hurt. No, my feelings aren't hurt. I'm just saying your perspective is pretty skewed. I'm just saying yours is a longer version. Is there another way I could word that? You're the writer. You do it. I don't know. It's pretty funny. To get the Cliff's Notes version of Kelly's life and the War and Peace version of Alan's. It's a joke. I enjoyed it. I did not think you talked too much. It's fine, man. I was just trying to be funny. Oh, I never talk too much on this podcast. Babe, see, now you're trying to hurt my feelings. No, I'm not. I sat back and let you talk a lot tonight. Did I not? People think you get paid by the word on this thing. Oh, do I talk too much? No, babe. I'm just kidding. You hurt my feelings now. Look,
why you think that's so funny.
I don't know why either.
Oh, anyway.
All right.
I'll change that if that makes you mad.
It does. I don't care.
Okay, good.
It's fine. Here, let me see. Zoe, right outside the door. Oh, come here. Oh, it's not a monkey. It's like a cow.
Oh, it's a unicorn.
Is it?
It's a unicorn cow.
It looked like a white monkey with a mohawk, a rainbow. But here.
Look at her face.
It's like, Daddy, what are you doing, Daddy? What are you doing? You're such a sweet girl.
Here, hold on. Here. Oh. Let's see. Can they see you? There you go. Is that not comfortable for? Oh, it's not comfortable for Mrs. Longlegs. There you are. Look. A sweet belly. She nibbles on your nose.
Why are you doing that? Oh.
Doing what? Oh, I'm just doing what? So they can see her. Thank you, Andrea. What am I, chopped liver? Her nose is so boopable. Look. Boop. 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 So boopable. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. So sweet.
There, I changed
A
it.
sweet puppy. A sweet puppy.
There you go. I changed it. I made it nicer.
Okay.
I don't ever want to hurt your feelings.
It
baby.
doesn't hurt my feelings.
You serious?
Yes.
I was just trying to be funny.
You're very funny.
I am very funny.
No, you're very funny. Especially when you say I burped from the balls up.
That was pretty funny.
No, I belched from the what'd you say? I belched from the balls up.
Something like that. All right, I'm going to go find Larry. Larry is being neglected. We love these little babies, though. Y'all need to get you some rescue dogs.
How sweet she is. What's the matter? You want your thing?
Y'all, we should have talked about this on the podcast tonight, but I'm going to do a little quick thing before we let you go. Alan, you know that couple, what are their names? Where they found the bones. Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and was it Lori Vallow, the couple that are like these cult people that her kids have disappeared and they've been looking for them for months. They found the bones on the husband's property today. Alan had never heard that story. He didn't even know what I was talking about, and this has been going on for months. Isn't that interesting? It's so interesting just because you know something and I guess you just watch different news or read different things. Alan had no idea, but I don't know if y'all heard they found the bones on the property and they think it's going to be the kids. And she is convinced that the world is ending or something like July 20th or something around that date. And that she's one of the chosen like 4,000 people. So July 20th, I mean, if you really are convinced, it's a mental illness, obviously, to be sucked in so deeply that you're willing to, I can't even understand it. I told Alan, it's one thing if one person is mentally ill and able to be convinced of these things, but there's several people that are convinced of this stuff. So yeah, that was sad news today. But I just thought it was so interesting. Alan hadn't even heard the story. And I was like, wow, you know, I take for granted sometimes when we talk about things, like I don't fill in all the details, but I'm like, oh, I assume you already know the story. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you hadn't heard that before.
I don't think I've heard that.
It's very interesting.
I've taken a break from the news.
Yeah, the news is just so upsetting. So upsetting. And anyway, that's not news to anybody that the news is upsetting right now, is it? Okay, so I thought that was interesting. It's just interesting that there's like, it's a major news story. I wonder what else. There's like some people, like they went away. They took us. I think one celebrity, I can't remember the name right now. It might have been Jared Leto. Like took a sabbatical and just like went camping or something for like a month. And when he came home, he's like, he didn't even realize the world had gone into quarantine, that COVID-19 was going on. So I guess it is possible if you just don't, some people are like, I'm so sick of the news, I'm not turning it on, that so much stuff is happening and you have no idea. Things we take for granted everybody knows. They're like, I didn't know.
You can totally, if you just follow, like on Instagram, if you just follow hashtags, like hashtag miniature schnauzer, hashtag mini schnauzer. I follow a lot of hashtags. If you just follow those hashtags,
happy hashtags,
you'll never see the news. I mean, you still see, if your friends post stuff, you'll see political stuff. But
you can block out a lot of it.
You can block out a lot of it. And I don't watch, the only TV I watch now is Netflix and
Game Show Network.
And Game Show Network and Food Network.
Yeah, we've gotten really into these food shows, even though I'm not a chef. We were watching one tonight. It was couples. And I was like, there's no way we could do a couples cooking show together. We would be at each other's throats. And then there's a show called The Worst Cooks in America. And I was telling Alan, these people have to, like, they're trying to be bad cooks, right? There's no way. But then I'm sitting there like, I'm the person that put an entire bottle of Worcestershire sauce on a rump roast and basically pickled the rump roast in a crock pot. I should be on America's Worst Cooks. And I wasn't trying to be a bad cook.
You were trying to do something good.
I was trying to do something good. See, that's the definition of the worst cook in America, right? It's not just that you don't cook.
You thought what you were doing was good.
I thought I was doing something good. I was so proud. I had the crock pot. I bought all this stuff.
How's that pressure cooker coming?
I need to use it.
Maybe you can throw up the.
I want to, but I don't want to.
Do this. Throw up the owner's manual of that pressure cooker on your vision board. That'll put something on the vision board.
That's true. On that note.
Yeah. Oh, Alan, he's so mean to Kelly. Until we have another submission for Kelly claps back next time. What's going to be next time, babe?
Oh, I'm sure I'll have something between now and then.
Alan belches from the balls up.
You like that one. You keep repeating it. That's one of your favorites.
Somebody DM'd me today, and she said, I can't wait to use that on my husband.
See, it was a good one.
Yeah.
It's got to be a good one, though. A good, deep down belch. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go. Everybody's just sitting here waiting for us to go. I can't read anyway. Because, oh, my goodness, Kelly. What? What did I do? A whole bottle of what? What was I talking about?
Worcestershire.
Oh, yeah, Worcestershire sauce. I did. It was horrible. It was horrible. I was trying to remember a recipe I read. I was like, I want to make the simplest roast I can make. And I just happened to have, I don't even know how I got it. It was like a butt roast or something. And I saw the recipe called for barbecue sauce and Worcestershire sauce. I was like, oh, that's easy. And so I had some barbecue sauce. I put it on the roast. And then I was like, but doesn't the liquid have to cover the meat? And so I poured the whole bottle of Worcestershire so the meat was covered. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. But now I know how to pickle a rump roast in a crock pot. And I don't like to waste money, so I ate it. That's the meal where Alan got up and made ramen. That's the meal you did. Like you took 2 bites, you just quietly got up and went and microwaved ramen noodles.
I mean, that made me pucker up.
It was so bad.
It was
so bad.
Just imagine.
It had been cooking all day in it.
Oh.
It was so bad.
It was like eating a shoe that was marinated in Worcestershire.
It was bad. I'm telling you, it was bad. I tried chopping it up and eating it on salads. I tried. This was a winner. Here again, worst cook in America. I had this beef. I was like, well, okay, it's really seasoned. So I got some beef broth and I put chunks of the meat in it, and I chopped up some green onions, and I was going to eat soup.
Where do you come up with this?
I just thought it would make good soup. I thought, what is soup? It is broth, it is vegetables, and it is meat, and sometimes pasta. So I chopped up that pickled butt roast. We should be telling this on a podcast. This is extra content. I chopped up that pickled butt roast that Alan refused to touch. I put it in a pot of beef broth, and I chopped up some scallions and tried to eat it. It was horrible. It was horrible. Why am I not on Worst Cooks in America? I should be. And I'm not proud of it. I should be a good Southern cook. I should be like that good Southern cook that my mother is, my Aunt Velma is, my grandmother was. I should be. I'm not. What?
Somebody's just asking for our email address.
Oh, there you go. All right, I'm going to go now on that note. Good night.
I guess it's too late. Yeah, it's probably too late to walk. It's 10.
Yeah.
I'll just do it in the morning.
Yeah,
I'll just take it for a long one in the morning.
Good night, y'all.
All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out for so long. Oh, yeah. You should do a YouTube. Michael, genius idea. He says you need to start a YouTube of you cooking, babe. Huh?
Well, honey, I'm sorry. I was reading text.
You need to start a YouTube on cooking. You cooking.
Well, I did that one cabbage, but we didn't edit it. I don't know how to edit stuff together, like an editing thing where I film like little segments and then edit. You know, on Instagram Live, you do the segments, but for YouTube, it has to all come together. Do you know how to do the editing? Is there like an app for that?
I mean, I know how to do a little bit in iMovie.
I guess we can.
I'm not an
get
expert.
into it. I'm not either. Maybe we can figure that out. Want an ice cream sandwich, Tubby?
You know,
You a little.
that might, if I just kind of cleanse my palate.
See, I was going to leave this in here for tomorrow morning, too. I just used this as a bath mat until the guys left. That's why it's.
God, I got a headache. Kill a billy goat now. I don't know what my deal is.
You need ice cream.
Yeah, maybe I need an ice cream. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out.
Or do you want a sandwich?
Huh?
You want the sandwich or the chocolate covered bar?
I'll do a sandwich. Ice cream sandwich. That is not Red Mountain approved. All right, y'all. We'll talk soon. We'll see what's today? It's Wednesday? See you. God, we'll see you until Monday night. Okay. Well, I'll see y'all on the social medias. We'll see you there. Love you guys.